See this fucking balls? Lick them. Listen, haters are going to hate, and the fact that Tony Bellew and Carl Froch didn't make any money out of the game is obviously hurtful to them. And I'm making the biggest bags that's ever existed.
Tyson Fury has finally lashed out at Carl Froch again as they rekindled their old feud after Carl Froch slammed him for firing John Fury as his trainer.
With a fighting man, when you've got him in the corner shouting and screaming at you, whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to absolutely nobody. I thought that was terrible and really unprofessional in the corner. It was bad.
Where are you, Carl?
It really is about to go down between the two Brits who have always had tough times with each other. And with Fury's response, the unexpected may be on the way. Tyson Fury was humbled for the first time only a few days ago. He suffered the very first defeat of his 36-match career by split decision on the 18th of May in Saudi Arabia. It was the first boxing match that, like football, had two halves, where Tyson Fury won the first half, seeming to be snatching away the win, before Alexander Usyk, the Ukrainian warrior, put on a magnificent show in the second half. Alexander Usyk, the man who tossed him around the ring like a coin, did so with a flurry of punches and ultimately defied Tyson Fury's father's boastful claims that no man born of a woman can defeat his son. John Fury's claims revive memories of the famous Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. But really, is Alexander Usyk truly born of a woman? Of course, that's definitely true. And what proves it even more is that the man who claimed no one born of a woman can defeat his son has been finally kicked out of Tyson Fury's corner.
Froch is a bum, and he'll get what the little men get. Push!
Get over it, Big John. You're on about kicking me up the arse when you see me. You won't be kicking anybody. You won't come near me.
Tyson Fury has finally responded to the cries of his supporters, and he has now fired his father as his trainer, and the very last time we'll be seeing John Fury in his son's corner was the last we actually did, in the undisputed world heavyweight title bout against Alexander Usyk.
Fighting man, Big John Fury. Now, he was potentially a big hindrance in the corner because there was three voices in that corner, and I thought that was ridiculous. You got Andy Lee, you got Sugar Hill, and then he's got his dad blowing.
It's not been fully announced by the heavyweight boxer, but insiders and other members of the Fury family have hinted that after their father clocked 60 yesterday. It was a decision that was made based on John Fury's age and also the recent controversy in the undisputed heavyweight title fight last Saturday. However, it surely won't be good news to John Fury after being relegated to only the role of a father in the life of his son, Tyson Fury. Regardless, for Tyson Fury's fans and even his enemies, it has come as some good news, as John Fury has done way more harm than good, attracting more haters than lovers to his son, and notably stopping him from getting the right instructions from a more professional trainer in his last fight. To Carl Froch, it sounded so funny that this was happening now, considering it's been a decision that should have been made many years ago. What even made Carl Froch's response more hurtful to Tyson Fury was the kind of person such comment was coming from, as Carl Froch isn't just an enemy to the heavyweight boxer, but to the Fury family as well. Froch pointed fingers at Fury's match against Usyk and labeled it terrible and unprofessional, as John Fury made a big mess of himself and single-handedly set the stage for his son's first career defeat. Former world super middleweight world champion Carl Froch was brutal in his comments about the loss of his countryman Tyson Fury and the eventual firing of John Fury from his son's corner. He went as far as slamming his father and putting all the blame on him, comparing Tyson Fury's corner to his own corner during his boxing career.
The Usyk fight didn't happen. You're fighting Ngannou instead of Usyk. You should be defending your title, really. You've got an obligation to the sport of heavyweight boxing as a champion. How long have you got left in the game? What, you got 2-3 more fights?
Former super middleweight world champion, Froch felt the abundance of instructions did Tyson Fury no favors. Speaking on the most recent episode of TalkSport's The Verdict podcast with George Groves, the former unified super middleweight champion said, "Robert McCracken was the main voice in my corner." The 46-year-old told TalkSport Carl Froch was particularly vocal about removing Fury Sr. Tony Sims would give me a bit of instruction as I step up off the stall to go out for the round and just say, keep that left hand up or get off to your right. Just a last little instruction before you go.
Tony Sims, Joe Cordina's man. He was doing my cuts. I also had a guy called Mark Seltzer, but he didn't really give me much. He just gave me a little look and a nod and a wink. But Rob McCracken was the main voice. You can only listen to one person.
But when you've got three people, including Big John Fury, the fighting man, he said with a bit of humor, when you've got him in the corner shouting and screaming at you, whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to absolutely nobody. He continued, I thought that was terrible and really unprofessional in his corner. He shouldn't be in there anymore.
Off to your right, just a last little instruction before you go. But when you've got three people, including Big John Fury, the fighting man, when you've got him in the corner shouting and screaming at you, whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to...
Carl Froch further commented on Tyson Fury quite harshly, highlighting that Fury survived a torrid 9th round in which he was given a standing 8 count after Usyk rained in a volley of blows which had him staggering into the ropes. The 35-year-old is expected to exercise his contractual right to a rematch, which is penciled in to take place in October. However, the Cobra has questioned Fury's hunger and believes money is now his sole motivation. And this was part of why Fury had to react. Froch had commented on Fury firing his father, he had questioned the professionalism of his corner, and then he was questioning his hunger and motivation. This was one of the main reasons why Tyson Fury responded, claiming his career was a more gracious one than that of Carl Froch, even if he retired at the moment. Froch continued by questioning Tyson Fury's motivation. I think now Tyson Fury's realized the legacy's probably not intact like he'd like it to be, Froch added. So now I think he's just concentrating on the money. I overheard a soundbite when he was in the ring, and he looked over at Turki Al-Sheikh, who's the entertainment guy out in Saudi, and he looked at him. He goes, let's get the rematch on. Show me the money. As if that's the only thing he's interested in now, just making some more money before he retires.
Absolutely nobody. I thought that was terrible and really unprofessional in his corner. It was bad.
Where are you, Carl, on the observation that I made last week in an article writing about Tyson Fury, but Johnny Nelson made it even stronger about the public's, not so much antipathy, but actual
But I don't know how that will settle with him when he looks in the mirror and his head hits the pillow. How does that settle with him? The heavyweight titans are contractually obliged to run back their fight, providing Fury activates the two-way rematch clause written into their contracts, which he has indicated he will. And it's something the champions team said would happen. We are men of our words, his promoter Alex Krashuk told Boxing King Media. It's not about paperwork. If we shake hands and promise something, we do it. I see no reason for the rematch not to take place.
His ear hole, he needs to stay out of it. The other two, like you've said, they've forgotten more than he knows about boxing.
Yes.
But whilst we're talking about Big John Fury, your background with him and your beef, just for the people who don't understand.
Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Sheikh recently confirmed that the second fight is penciled in for October 12-13. After which, a fight between Fury and Anthony Joshua is being targeted for March 2025. However, Carl Froch has a contrary opinion, sending the most unexpected advice to Alexander Usyk that he should ignore the rematch and retire instead. Carl Froch then went ahead to praise Alexander Usyk and demeaning his countrymen, Fury and AJ, claiming they were both in second place, as Usyk has proven to be better than the both of them. This harshness from Brits was what John Fury had spoken about in an interview in Saudi Arabia, as he was quick to call Saudi Arabia his new home, claiming he'd want to be like the people there.
Just want to be like them. I want to be like the Saudis, because the worst man in Saudi is better than John Fury. There you are.
John, just very quickly, yesterday we know that Carl Froch has a little pop.
Well, it turned out that Carl Froch was a prototype of the Brits John Fury saw about. Froch continued and said, I think the only thing Usyk will do is retire. He will either have the rematch or retire. He's got nothing to prove. He's beaten AJ twice. He's now beaten Tyson Fury. He is the generational great for me. Usyk is the main character. He is the leader of the pack. When you look back at this generation of heavyweights, you're going to look back and say, Alexander Usyk is the main man. He's dominated. When I retired, I was nearly 37. Usyk is at that age where I know how you feel in training camp and how you feel in round 7 and 8. He's completed boxing, hang up the gloves, and turn it in. That is my advice to him. I don't think he's got anything left to prove. The rematch proves nothing. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and the rest of the heavyweights can fight for the number 2 position.
The way he and his gang behave.
Well, I think the public react generally quite correctly. So they'll build you up, and then if you do something wrong, they'll kick you back down, and then then they like to build you back up. I think Tyson's made a rod for his own back. The way he's been speaking about Usyk, the disrespectful language.
Well, Froch did just enough and more to expect a comeback from Tyson Fury. And for once, Tyson Fury can be said to be blameless, despite being brutal in his comments as a fellow. Froch even admitted that a showdown between Fury and Joshua would be two losers fighting each other, and believes the interest in the contest has been damped following the Gypsy King's defeat to Usyk last weekend.
The turn against you, and it's sad to see. I don't mind you giving me stick. You're having a bit of a go back, you're defending yourself, you're on your back foot, and deep down I think you're hurting the sport, and I think you know that actually what you're doing is bad for the game. You're taking the money instead of being full of pride for the sport. I think it's bad.
Speaking to Lord Ping, he said, "I'm not surprised Fury's activated the rematch clause. Where else can he go? Does anyone want to see Fury and Anthony Joshua? It's two losers, isn't it? You've got two losers there fighting over second place. It would have been huge if Fury beat Usyk, but now it's two losers in a rubber match. I'm not that excited about it. If Nottingham Forest are playing, I'm watching that instead." Fury should try and rectify the defeat to Usyk. I think he needs to rectify the loss if he's going to be remembered as a top fighter of the era. To be remembered the best, he's going to have to beat Usyk.
He's been speaking about Usyk, the disrespectful language. His dad doesn't help, Big John Fury. He pipes up and starts playing silly shenanigans and dropping the headbutt in at that early press conference on Monday. That just turned everybody against him. He says all the wrong things, Tyson.
With Froch admitting that Fury should chase the second showdown with Usyk, it'd appear that the pair are targeting a rematch for later this year. He added, "Fury-Usyk was a close fight, so I'd make Fury the favorite against AJ. What's AJ done since losing to Andy Ruiz? He's had comeback fights against opponents who didn't want to be in there with him. He lost twice to Usyk, and he beat Francis in an exhibition. AJ has been flattered by the low-level opposition he's been fighting at. If Fury jumps in there with AJ now on the back of that performance, I'd make Fury the favorite."
Happy with the way he and his gang behave.
Well, I think the public react generally quite correctly. So they'll build you up, and then if you do something wrong, they'll kick you back down, and then they like to build you back up. I think Tyson's...
Carl Froch's interview soon became viral, and it was only expected that Tyson Fury gets notified and sends back his own response as well. On getting it, Tyson Fury was again quick to shun Froch for his repeated interest in his matter and how careless he is with his words. Froch is a damn hater. He never sees anything good. He wants to be Britain's best, and that's impossible. We fought almost the same number of fights, and he had 2 losses. This is my first loss in a close and controversial fight, he said.
4 wins over world champions against 11 wins over world champions. I'm in the Hall of Fame for a reason. But again, I'm not here to discredit Tyson Fury. I'm asked questions by journalists. I give honest answers. You said that I should be kissing his ass.
Tyson Fury then added, claiming Carl Froch's career can never be compared to his when you consider the financial benefits and even boxing. He claimed Froch was miles below him. Froch's career is levels below mine, and the world knows this. Britain knows this. After the rematch, I'll see him, he concluded. And really, it's always been very fierce between the two Brits, as there have been several back and forth between the pair. While Tyson Fury's fight with Francis drew closer, Carl Froch continued his back and forth with the world heavyweight champion and said his CV doesn't stack up against mine and that he should get in the right with Ariel Fighter. The British pair kept niggling at each other as Carl Froch was not a particular fan of Fury's bout with MMA champion turned boxing novice Francis in Riyadh. Froch told Fury it's all about the money, and Fury called Froch a fool and a hater. In his retort at a press conference for the fight, Fury claimed, "I'm making the biggest bags that have ever existed. Who cares what Froch and Tony Bellew think? They're just average little boxers with no personality." Speaking on Froch on Fighting, the Cobra then responded, saying he does have a personality and that he doesn't like talking about money. "It's not classy to talk about money at all. Me and Tony, we've done all right. We've got out of the sport with our health intact, financially free, physically and mentally in a good place. I'm an average fighter? Your CV doesn't stack up against mine, it just doesn't. You've got 4 wins over world champions, 4. Steve Cunningham, an old cruiserweight. Vladimir Klitschko in a real stinker, horrible fight. Deontay Wilder 3 times and you beat him twice. I've got 11 wins over world champions. Lennox Lewis, what's he got? 14? I'll tell you something. You can have as much money as you want in your wallet. You turn up to the Hall of Fame party next year, and you won't be dining on the top table with any of my peers, because you won't belong there with that CV." Froch then made a heartfelt plea to Fury to make the big fights happen. However, when a response was going to Khan, it came from another Fury.
Come and meet me face to face. I'll eat Froch alive and I'll eat Bellew alive. You want to come and see me? I'm here, and I'm ready, and I'm stepping back from no man.
John Fury! Fury Sr. has regularly sparked angry confrontations with pundits and boxers during his career, including YouTube star KSI, Carl Frampton, and now most recently, the Cobra. With Froch criticizing the resume of his son after recent results in the division, the eldest Fury decided to offer a more physical settlement to the debate, insisting he would kick the former boxing champion if he saw him in public. He told a news source, "He's a first-class idiot, wants a kick up the butt, and he'll get it off me if he ever comes around me. When they talk about stuff like that, it gets under my skin, just because they want a few more viewing figures. They're jealous because people are only interested in the current champions. That's why when you see the Furies out of boxing, you'll never see us again, because we don't hang around as has-beens. No one wants to know about has-beens. You're a bum Carl Froch. Keep my son's name out of your mouth, because you ain't good enough to kiss his freaking butt."
It's going to be a waste if you keep fighting these crossover fights. All right, you're taking the money, that's great. But when your career's over and you're finished, you want your legacy to be intact. You want that respect, and you're killing off the fans. The fans are turning against you.
The feud has heated up online, with Froch being begged to make a response by fans online after John Fury's outburst. It is clear that there is no love lost between the pair, and Froch might have just escalated that further. During the video, Froch even goes personal to talk about some of the famous father's own fights, before explaining exactly why he made his comments about the lineal heavyweight champion. "He's called me a friggin' idiot. To me that means someone is a bottle job, scared to fight anybody. Have a look at my CV. I'll fight anybody. I fear nobody. I fear no man born from his mother." To quote your son, Tyson Fury, "He's called me a has-been. What's all this business? That comes from somebody who has never been. If I'm asked a question about your son, I will give an honest answer. Get over it, Big John. You're about kicking me up the butt when you see me. You won't be kicking anybody. You won't come near me. You'll probably come and shake my hand, and I hope you do." That was then. However, history could repeat itself, especially as Carl Froch slammed both Tyson Fury and his father during his interview. Tyson Fury has reacted, but John Fury's silence may mean something more dangerous is coming, and it could truly be physical, as John Fury is really capable of anything at all. However, it remains sealed that John Fury will no longer be seen at Tyson Fury's corner, as his son has fired him as his trainer. It came after boxing fans and professionals repeatedly highlighted John Fury's role in the Gypsy Kings camp following the first defeat of his professional career. Some even claimed Fury's father had been a hindrance to him during the fight, rather than a help as he sought to overcome Usyk. Discussing the fight on his YouTube channel, UFC Hall of Famer Michael Bisping placed further blame on John. People online are saying that the corner work was absolute shambles because John Fury was screaming over the top of Sugar Hill Stewart. He began. John Fury was screaming over the top, so you're sitting there getting conflicting advice when you need a cool, calm, collected corner. You can't have people getting emotional and trying to be heard and be seen on camera, he continued. Of course, John Fury is his father and he's emotionally invested, but sometimes you have got to know your place. Truly, the fight showed that Sugar Hill's role as head trainer was undermined with various instructions. In the past, John Fury has spoken out against Sugar Hill, saying he should be fired. This was after the trainer denied reports that he was in England to train Fury for a Usyk fight in 2023. That removed suggestions that Fury was serious about fighting the Ukrainian last year. And since Sugar Hill is the head trainer, John Fury has been told to go following the fight. Fans suggested that his presence distracted from tactical advice being offered by his coach Andy Lee and trainer Sugar Hill Stewart, costing his son the fight. One fan wrote, "Fury's corner consisted of two incredibly intelligent boxing people in Sugar Hill and Andy Lee trying to impart some astute tactical game plan, only to be repeatedly drowned out by John Fury shouting, 'Use the jab, we're fighting men!' John Fury shouldn't be anywhere near this, constantly talking to two guys who actually know what they are talking about," another added. One thing is certain though, Tyson Fury needs to keep John Fury out of the training camp, the build-up, and especially out of his corner for the next fight.
Need a cool, calm, collected corner. The corner work for 60 seconds in a situation where the stakes are so high is absolutely vital. A lot of the time, they don't need to tell them how to box, but you need to calm their minds and you need to give them an accurate reflection of what is going on in.
The man is a huge hindrance and distraction to the team as a whole, claimed a third. A clip had shown Stewart offering Fury advice ahead of the final 2 rounds of the fight, saying, "Don't cross your goddamn legs, be ready to punch," before adding, "Don't be afraid to slide in, quit pulling back or you'll get caught." John Fury could also be heard offering advice to his son, repeatedly saying, "Light punches, light punches." He was also heard talking over Stewart, telling Fury to box and move, while Fury was told by his corner that he was winning the fight. A fan claimed John Fury's comments contradicted Stewart's tactical advice, potentially adding confusion for Tyson Fury ahead of the final rounds. John Fury was basically contradicting what Sugar Hull was saying in the corner, telling Fury to box and move and throw light punches after Hill told him to take the fight to Usyk and throw power shots, one fan wrote.
A lot of the time, they don't need to tell them how to box, but you need to calm their minds and you need to give them an accurate reflection of what is going on in the fight, and therefore go out there, spot 1 or 2 key little things. You can't have people shouting all over the place. That's absolutely.
And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get alerted when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.